Good morning, North America. Good afternoon to my European and LEC fans. This is the post day one of Worlds kind of recap, discussion, summary. So if you have not watched all the games or seen the highlights, please click off now. We're about to go into it in depth. Pretty long day of games, huh? I stayed up late to watch the C9 and TL games individually, so it's a little bit later in the morning. So let me know, what are you having for breakfast or lunch while watching this? And also be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's start off with the series that most people are probably going to want to talk about. It was, I'm going to guess, the most watched game of the day, the most thrilling, and that was T1 versus Team Liquid. I don't think anybody had Team Liquid standing a chance to win this. Even chat was like 90-10, and for understandable reason. Like, we should never have been favored, but boy did we keep it close. Yes, we gave up a lot of map control in different areas, as is pretty much tradition at this point between minor region teams or like lower level major region teams versus the LCK and LPL. The difference this time was that we fought our way out of it. It was honestly a look that we have never seen from an LCS team. Even like C9, whenever they did well at Worlds like years ago, like they were actually playing pretty well, smashing some of their lanes. Like, it wasn't this come from behind style victory where normally like we fall a little bit behind to these teams and then we just collapse. But no, this time, we were at a gold deficit, and we clawed it back to a gold lead all the way up until the moment that we lost later in the game. And despite the fact that we lost, there's no denying we could have won this at several points. The first one that comes to mind is the Baron play where we got Baron, but then only Piosik ended up living. If we turn and fight there, instead of just going to finish the Baron and allow them to get poke on us and allow us to chunk us down and then obviously chase us out and kill us all, we might win the game right off of that. Now granted, split second decision making, they decided to pass on it, kind of is what it is. But the fact that we still kept it around even after it, even a gold loss Baron play, and then we're winning fights to the point where we came back and nearly won this, incredible. We do have to talk about that final fight. A theme throughout this entire game is that yes, it was Yawn's and APA's very first game at Worlds against obviously Faker as well. APA actually held his own, even though he's Syndra and Orianna, and you would hope that he would have a little bit more of an advantage. The fact that he didn't lose any advantages, there was, I think, one misplay in the mid game, but other than that, he was fine. The biggest problem that he had was that he was not flashing things that he needed to flash. You could tell he was a little bit gun shy, which comes with the nerves of being on stage for the first time. And in the final fight, that exact thing happened. He was not able to flash. I think it was an Ashe arrow coming in. He think it's Sejuani ulted. He CC'd the entire fight, which is a problem. We have no damage to follow up on what was a decent looking engage from Core JJ and Summit. The bigger worry point that we do have to keep an eye on going forward is Yawn. Now granted, he was playing Aphelios into a Ashe Renata lane, which from the jump, it's just like, okay, dude, you got to hold on. You got to put yourself in a position where you can fight later in the game. Unfortunately, he fell really far behind, which is partly due to the comp that he's playing against. That, again, that's fine. It's one thing to go down 20-30 CS. For him to be down like 70 or 80 at one point, I think. Yeah, he ended the game 70 CS down. He was never in a point where he could do or really deal all that much damage, which ended up causing problems for us. That final fight, he was standing over an Orianna ball that he didn't flash, and you could just tell like nerves were very much a part of this. Like, he was just hesitant on a lot of different things. But I don't think this final fight is ultimately their fault. I do think it is on Core JJ and Summit for going in a situation where Aphelios does not have good guns to fight. APA is a little bit further back and got hit with the arrow, so he's not there. Now granted, you can't really like disengage once you kind of start doing all this. But Piosik was notably nowhere nearby. And that's the problem. Piosik was the best player of Worlds day one. I know that might sound hard to believe, but my dude was on one today. He very quickly reminded everybody why he is the defending world champion jungler, because he played out of his mind this entire game. Had he been there for that final fight, who knows what could have happened, but he was crushing it all game long. And this Team Liquid, if they play like this, actually stands a chance to get out of Swiss stage. If they can do this against T1, now granted, T1 had their own problems that they were fighting against. Teams are going to clean it up as we go on. But if TL shows this look and just cleans it up a little bit and the nerves calm down for the rookies, we stand a chance there. On to our one dub of the day, baby. C9, baby. Let's go. Solid win over Mad Lions. The Talia Jax combo worked wonders for us. Eminez on Casante never really got behind all that much, was able to facilitate in fights a good bit. It just seemed like we understood, yeah, if we're going to put Eminez on tank duty and let Fudge and Blabber carry, they can do this, and it worked out incredibly well. Blabber made sure Elyoya did not get to do much in this game at all. Our best player in Berserker, he was just chilling, farming on Xayah. It was honestly a phenomenal game to watch, a really good start for Cloud9 to get that early win over Europe in a match where realistically you have to win that. If you want to try and get out of Swiss, you have to give yourself those opportunities to keep pushing forward, and they took it and looked convincingly good doing so. Now, will this translate over into other wins as they go on? And for the record, I don't know what the draw is at the time of recording this. I'm going to actually react to it as part of this video and then discuss the matchups later. I don't know. Sven on Alistar looked decent, but we will have to see against a little bit more coordinated of a team how they do. Overall, just incredibly excited about this. Happy that we finally just got a solid win on day one. And it just felt like the overall atmosphere around the LCS at Worlds today was generally positive. Like, I think we walked out on mostly good notes, barring NRG. They got their shit pushed in hard, specifically bot lane. Like, the FBI Callista was not it. It did not work. And just overall, this team comp was a little bit weird for them. Not sure how I felt about contracts on Talia. Jace for Palafox is fine, but just, I don't know. We didn't really play it that well. NRG just came out very flat today. Just didn't have much going for them whatsoever. Am I worried? Not necessarily. NRG is one of those teams that we've seen in the LCS. Like, if they take it on the chin like they did against Cloud9 in the Winners Finals where they lost 3-0, they can bounce back. And given that it's some of these players' first Worlds, yeah, I'm not too overly worried yet. It is definitely something to keep an eye on, especially after tomorrow, depending on who they get. This should hopefully be a bounce back win for them, especially if we get a European team. That's where they need to show up. That's where they need to put that stamp of approval in, because they notably cannot play G2. G2 was able to pull off the win against Damwon, so it would just be either Fnatic, BDS, or Mad Lions, which would be massive wins. So for them, take a breath, relax, come on back tomorrow, win your game. It's as simple as that. Other games around, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't watch all of them because I was sleeping and I have to get this video out. The matchup that most people were looking forward to in G2 and Damwon, I already touched on. G2 was able to pull off that win pretty solidly. And the last game of the day, BLG versus KT Rolster, BLG was able to pull off that win, meaning that the LPL went undefeated in day one and the LCK went 2-2. Europe went 1-3 and North America went 1-2. Vietnam 0-1. So overall, I feel like we're in a really good spot. I feel like both Europe and North America are still in positions to pounce. I don't think anybody looked like they were beaten so bad to the point where they couldn't really rebound from this, or at least the teams that they lost to. You know, the caliber difference was enough that like the next stage should be fine. So with that, let's get into the Swiss draw reaction because I want to find out who we're playing and then talk about it. So for best case scenario for C9, I think you want to draw a G2 for obvious reasons. For Team Liquid and NRG, like you have to be looking at a combination of GAM, MAD, BDS, Fnatic. Like the only team that you need to avoid is KT. You avoid KT, life is easy. G2 Cloud9 would be amazing, and it would throw so many wrenches into everything. All right, we got Weibo Gaming.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Sorry. All right.
And I believe that this is going to be their opponent. I'm not 100% sure. They'll have to see the bracket populate because they could be pulling
Weibo Gaming versus... Is it G2? Is it Weibo versus G2?
Yes, it is the matchup. G2.
That's winnable. That's winnable for G2.
Gift that G2 get for winning that.
That's amazing.
Game versus team.
Hey, listen, they're the number one team from EU. They play
that could get them to 2-0.
That's fair.
They've got PTSD from the shot.
Wow.
Next up.
BLG, okay. As long as they avoid JDG and LNG, then people are going to be happy. But if we get like a domestic matchup, then
they're so clutch. But we'll see.
If they have to play JDG, it'll be a Greek tragedy.
It will be, and at Worlds, unfortunately, sometimes that has panned out as such.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
They are 0-7 in matches this year against JDG, but they have beaten basically everyone else.
Holy
crap. If you get one chance where you beat them, do you want it to be this one, or maybe
this is a better
That's
time to face them than later, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Oh
You'd rather
my
play than
goodness
LNG.
gracious.
Okay.
LNG up next.
Okay, so we
beat
got
Fnatic earlier today.
T1's left, C9's left,
T1, C9.
and one other team is left.
Are we blanking? But the LPL teams went for into Genji's also left.
Yeah.
Genji. I think I'd rather play LNG than
Okay.
either of the other two.
LNG C9.
Let's go.
Scrappy.
We take that. We take that. I'm fine with that.
Every matchup was going to be difficult.
LNG might have beat Fnatic, but that's fine.
Draws for, you know, getting EU and
C9 can do it. We've seen them take down bigger opponents. That's perfectly fine with me.
You remember?
So T1 versus Genji.
Genji drawn first.
Wait, it's T1 versus Genji again.
Genji T1. MSI all over again.
This is insane.
Man, see, this is the
I
problem
can't
that
believe
people
it's playing
were going to
out
have
like
with the
this
draw.
again.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So the excitement is really going to be in the lower, like the 0-1, because we're getting like a lot of matchups. So G2 versus Z9 both have matchups that they can win. JDG versus BLG, Genji versus T1. Like,
He's gonna play T1.
Exactly.
I mean, you already know how those are going to work out.
And also, I don't want to.
Eating and getting into where you're going to play your.
All right, here we go.
matches.
This is the
I guess
moment
so
of truth.
important
Come on.
because you don't
You,
wanna
you
be-
just have to avoid
Yeah,
KT.
Duo, this
That's all.
fast is so nice.
I mean, you want to get out of here as soon as
Soon as you
possible.
can.
You want 3-0 the dream.
Team
Here we
Liquid.
go, Team
Oh,
Liquid.
God. That means like,
Okay.
Okay.
come on.
Okay.
Anything but KT.
Not KT.
Anything but KT.
More specifically, not KT, in my opinion.
Oh, it's from the bottom.
Anything but
right.
KT.
I'm so nervous.
Don't do this to me. I can't.
I'm
look.
so nervous. This is crazy. NRG?
Oh, what?
We didn't even think about that possibility. It's an
Okay,
LCS
this is like-
matchup. This is sad.
So many team kills already.
Wow.
It's good and bad.
Yeah, and it's not a team kill.
Why?
So that only means we'll get more diversified ones region-wise. Hopefully.
Of all the results that we could
Okay.
have. God damn it.
Keep
Okay.
Let's Kia. All right.
That's got to be the most depressing draw you could
Okay,
ever
that would be
have.
tragic.
That would be extremely tragic.
I actually don't want that.
That would be super tragic. You know,
Dun, dun.
Fnatic's still in that mix as well, so
Dun,
maybe
dun.
they get it.
No, just don't.
Or
Do
mad.
not pull.
Or mad. Let's take a look.
Oh my God. One of damn one and KT is going to be
Lottery
0-2.
ticket. What is happening? I
This
mean,
is
What
so
the
here's-
hell?
Here's what's even worse about this. This means there will be an 0-2 match guaranteed with either
Yeah.
DK or KT.
You know, this is what we set up, you know, that things
Wow.
could go right.
Watch BDS get
BDS.
gam. Watch them get gam.
I mean,
Mad? I
Gam
guess.
is left, Fnatic is left. I mean, three
They get an EU team, right? The-
or Gam. They
Yeah,
get an
or
EU team or
Gam.
Gam.
If it's
Hey,
gam, I
win-win.
swear.
Wow.
Insane.
BDS map. Okay.
And the last is
And then it's going to be Fnatic.
Fnatic
Yeah.
versus
Okay.
Gam. This is really, really
Wow.
crazy.
I tried to warn Riot. I tried to let so many people know that you gotta like seed this in some capacity. You gotta find a way to protect these draws a little bit more by making sure that you don't have matchups that you shouldn't be having prior to like later on the stage. There is no world, barring a world where Damwon and KT lose to both North America and GAM and like basically somebody that's of higher caliber within this world. There's no world where they should be 0-2 after this start. But it's like this is just gonna be pure and utter chaos. And now like in the top side of the bracket, the two finals rematches. You got JDG versus BLG and Genji versus T1, where it's like, sure, maybe the result might flip a little bit, but we saw this exact thing at MSI. It's not going to happen. So it's like you have two games now that people are just not going to be all that excited for as they go through. But dude, Team Liquid versus NRG. Really? Really? I get you can't protect... I don't know, maybe there should be like a rule that like you can't play your own region unless there's like no other team to be drawn and just like try and force it that way. Maybe, I don't know, like the amount of just domestic matchups because you have no protection in this round is actually absurd. It's the worst possible draw that they could have had given what was actually a good breakout of teams in each pool. That's the problem here. That's what I tried warning against, but it's like, oh man. Oh, this just got ugly. I don't even want to make predictions because I feel really bad about this. All right, I'm going to do it. Okay. I'm actually going to say that G2 beats Weibo. NRG just genuinely did not look good on day one, and actually I'm kind of scared, and I'll get into that in a second here, but I think that G2 actually does stand a very good chance at beating them. I'm just going to take the winners from their domestic matchups, JDG and T1. C9 versus LNG, this is going to be the real test. We saw Fnatic just get absolutely smacked by them. So the question is C9 an actual contender? Because if they are, they will be able to at least hang with LNG. LNG is one of my favorites to win the entire tournament, so I'm not expecting us to beat them, but I want to see a similar thing to what we saw with Team Liquid and T1 earlier today. I want to see them contend. I want to see them be close and hang with them. That'll inspire confidence as we get into the probably 1-1 or even maybe 2-0 stage. Who knows? Oh, bot side. Look, NRG squeaked out the Game 5 versus Team Liquid at LCS Finals. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I mean, granted, it's the form that we've already seen now. Luckily, it's a familiar matchup that they're aware of, but I still favored TL whenever I saw them play at finals. I like the way they're playing now. I think APA is going to be a massive step up from where he was previously. So yeah, I think I'm going to go Team Liquid over NRG. Damwon versus KT, or D plus Kia versus KT, I'm actually probably going to go KT for obvious reasons. It makes sense. And then Fnatic versus GAM, I think you just take Fnatic. It's as simple as that. BDS versus Mad Lions is going to be interesting. This is going to be the true test of, like, do we get BDS informed versus Mad? I'm going to say yes to BDS. I think they actually look decent. They were able to get some licks onto JDG, and I think that carries over. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions. I mean, you don't even have to say anything about the bracket. We know this is the worst draw we could have possibly gotten, and that is what it is. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Adios.